You're covered.
Oh, Ed, you did send that federal, didn't you?
Yes, Fred. We're covered.
You sent that thing federal, didn't you, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm covered.
I'm covered.
I'm covered.
Hey, I'm covered.
Are you covered? I'm covered.
I'm covered. Are you covered?
I'm covered. Are you covered?
I think we're all covered.
I'm covered if he's covered.
Cover yourself with Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
Some men are born to dream. Others are born to win.
Nobody who can stop us now.
Treat Williams is Dempsey, a 3-hour television event Wednesday.
This is going to be easy.
Looking good in the groove. Arnie Menswear on the move. There's more for your life at Sears. Button it up. Suits with flair. Nail it down. Great sportswear. At your ease or on the town. There's more for your life.
Looking good.
For the look of your life. Arnie Menswear on the move. There's more for your life at Sears.
If you're looking for an investment firm, I've got some advice for you. I want to tell you the single best way to choose that investment firm. Just ask a lot of investors a lot of questions. Ask if their broker really listens, really cares, and ask them how they're doing. I'm telling you this because I believe you're going to hear a lot of good things about one company, Dean Witter. I think you'll find Dean Witter worth asking about.
Dean Witter, worth asking about.
45.
Pacific storms batter the West Coast. Blizzards paralyze the Midwest. And record cold grips the East. As torrential rains sweep the Gulf states, massive flooding from swollen rivers drives millions from their homes. But emergency services and volunteers like the American Red Cross and the Salvation Army are on the job.
This is Darylyn Moore of the New Orleans Saints with my wife, Franny. We're part of the team of Red Cross and Salvation Army volunteers who are working to protect our city from the rising waters.
And we know that families are being cared for at Salvation Army and Red Cross centers set up throughout the South.
In times of emergencies and disasters, wherever you live, whatever the needs are, these agencies will be there to help you, your neighbors, and your family.
They'll be there because you support their work when you give to the United Way.
That's why in New Orleans or wherever you live, we can say thanks, because thanks to you it works. For all of us, the United Way.
The preceding message would in that last drive for the Cowboys. So Dorsett, who came into the game with a sore knee, has rib problems on top of that. So it's been a battle.
It has been a battle, but I feel right now that New Orleans will come out and start the second half with more confidence than they had when they started the football game.
Especially since they were trailing 10-0 and then fought back, tied it at 10 apiece, and are hanging in there with the Cowboys. And the Saints are doing it without their main man, so to speak, George Rogers, their outstanding rusher, who missed last week. They beat the Bears, and of course is sitting out today, and they hope to get him back next week. So a lot of football left to be played here on a warm, early fall afternoon at Texas Stadium. Dick Vermeil and I will be back shortly.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Sears, where you'll find great values. There's more for your life at Sears.
I thought Canon came up with personal cartridge copying just to simplify my business. Why else would they make maintenance as easy as changing a cartridge? But now, Canon's PC-10 and PC-20 are minding everyone's business. Even my dentist has one. He changes copy colors faster than you can say, Canon's PC copiers. Now they're minding everyone's business. Hey, these are mine.
Oh. We'll use gas.
For information, call toll-free. Canon Personal Cartridge Copying. Plain and simple.
Hi, I'm Terry Bradshaw for Z-Rex Antifreeze and Coolant, the premium protection that lasts all year. Z-Rex protects your engine in all kinds of weather, from the bitter cold of a Pennsylvania steel town to the steamy heat of a Sunbelt summer. And it blocks out rust and corrosion, even in cars with aluminum parts. Hey, Bradshaw, you're next. I wish I could get this kind of protection on the field all the time.
Xerox Antifreeze, premium protection that lasts from Conoco.
Dad, look at this one.
Come see the Olympics in a whole new way. Come discover stamp collecting and salute women in the Olympics.
I hope that's me one day.
Bet it will be. So come to the post office and start your collection with the 1984 Olympic Series featuring women.
We've got the touch, UNCBS. You're tuned to us, we're tuned to you. With stars to touch you through and through. Touch of laughter, touch of tears. With friends you've known for years. We've got the touch, UNCBS. We've got the touch. We've got it. UNCBS. UNCBS.
Welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. Injuries today. Irv, what's the latest on Walter Payton of the Bears?
Walter Payton went out with a bruised knee and will probably not return. He was hurt early in the first quarter.
Okay, well, this score right here, St. Louis and Philadelphia. This has been a hard-hitting game. The Cardinals now leading the Eagles 7-3, and Irv, what a lick Ron Jaworski took early.
Yeah, I've been an advocate of having the quarterbacks wear rib pads. Now watch what happens to Ron Jaworski here, Brent, as he goes back to deliver this pass. It's hit in the rib area, but actually hurt his jaw, as it turned out.
Was not serious, fortunately. He was able to come back later. But you see the Cardinals are just pouring all over him, and they forced that turnover. And then the Cardinals gave it right back to the Eagles. They could not capitalize. But this time, Jimmy Hart, under heavy pressure, did get the touchdown pass to Doug Marsh, and it is 7-3, the Cardinals over the Eagles, and again, they are at the half. New England and Pittsburgh, a big day for Franco Harris. He's passed O.J. Simpson. He is now second on the all-time rushing list. He trails Jimmy Brown now by about 1,000 yards. 14-13, though. The Patriots are with the lead. They've started the third quarter. Houston has lost 10 straight games, and this could be number 11. Buffalo has taken charge at the half, 13-6 in that contest. Detroit and Minnesota. Minnesota scored the first 17 points here as the result of 3 Lion turnovers, and Bud Grant has an opportunistic team. He also has a new quarterback, Steve Dills, for the injured Tommy Kramer. Here he goes to Bob Brewer. But I think the way Bud likes to win overall is to block a few kicks, sir.
This is really a big play, Brent. In the second quarter, Michael Black from the Lions is in his end zone, but watch what happens here. Number 57, Robin Sinline, comes to scot-free, makes the block, and number 56, David Huffman, scores for the Vikings.
But then the Lions did get on the board. Eric Hipple went over the middle deep to Mark Nichols, a 41-yard touchdown, and it is 17-7. They have gone to the half in Minneapolis there. Cincinnati scored the first 20 points against Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers have come back with a touchdown, 27. Both those teams are looking for their first wins of the year. Kansas City and Miami, they also are in the third quarter, which has just begun. Miami leads it now on the strength of an Uwe von Schamann extra point, 7-6. And also Chicago and Baltimore, they are underway. No score in that game. Baltimore was on the drive, and then it was the Bears secondary.
Really alert play here, Brent. Quarterback under pressure, trying to find somebody open. Great coverage outfield. Forcing this play. Leslie Frazier coming up with an interception.
And along with Peyton, the Bears have also lost Gary Finsick. He was taken off the field. He will not play for the rest of the day either. Now, of course, the game down in Dallas, the Cowboys, well, they went ahead for the first time this year, scored in the first period, and then squandered a 10-point lead. Dan 10 after the extra point, and then Septien came back, and he kicked another field goal. And we'll continue with the NFL Today after these messages from your local stations.
Monday, it's Premiere Week on CBS with 2 special premieres. First, coming to its proper place on Monday nights.
Together again.
Hear, hear.
Huh? Hear, hear.
I certainly hope to.
The 1-hour debut of Aftermash. Then, a special 2-hour premiere. Dennis Weaver is the Admiral. Andrew Stevens is the hero or the killer. Susan Day is the rebellious daughter in the sizzling world of Emerald Point. Following Aftermash, Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.
The Jets are one of our key doubleheader games here on CBS. They will be hosting the Los Angeles Rams. And whenever you think of the Jets, of course, you recall the name Joe Namath. And when he quit a few years ago, he didn't exactly disappear from the limelight. He pursued a career in show business. And in fact, Broadway Joe is now playing on Broadway as an actor in the Caine Mutiny Court Martial. But most of the legends of the game do not continue to hear the applause after they leave football. And in case you're wondering what Namath's favorite receiver is up to these days, here's Irv Cross's profile of that other Jet All-Star, Don Maynard.
When NFL players retire, contrary to popular belief, most of them have to find jobs and go to work for a living. Just like this room full of insurance salespeople attending the state convention here in San Antonio.
Came to know him as a real close personal friend of mine.
The NFL's second leading all-time receiver is here today. He played with the most colorful quarterback on the most glamorous team of his era. But today, his business card reads, Regional Sales Director, Don Maynard. He was the very first player signed by the New York Titans of the brand new American Football League. But it wasn't until the Titans became the Jets and signed a first-class quarterback named Joe Namath that Don Maynard's career really took off.
When Joe came up, I just told him, I said, I think we can be a real good team. I said, I'll help make you a better quarterback, and you can make me a real good receiver.
They struck a bargain, and each man held up his end.
Communications is a key. Anytime I ran a route, actually it was going to be a two-route play. If the first part was open, Joe would hit it. If it wasn't, then he'd hit it on the second part. And then Joe's way of breaking the pattern for us, when you look back for the ball, he would just pump it. And then you went into the second phase of your route, and as a result, you'd get a big gain and occasionally a touchdown.
Their rapport was never better than in the 1968 AFL Championship game. On that day, the Jets played well, but still trailed by 3 late in the game. Fortunately, Maynard and Namath had a secret.
I told Joe a little earlier that I had a long one when he needed it, and all of a sudden we was in that situation, and I went down on a long go pattern, and the ball was coming on the inside shoulder, and I had the defender beat, and then all of a sudden the wind kind of whipped the ball, and I caught it on the outside shoulder, and I ran out of bounds from about the 6. But you had to win that one to get to the Super Bowl. Once you get to Super Bowl, automatically you got the losers' money in your pocket and maybe the winners, you know, but you had to beat that Oakland group, and that was the pressure game.
The New York Jets went on to an historic upset in Super Bowl III, and Don Maynard went right on catching passes, retiring with nearly 12,000 career receiving yards, the highest individual total in league history.
Football to me was just super fun. Who knows, I think I could go play today. You know, I wouldn't mind having a little bit of that money, you know.
You might get a call from somebody. A lot of teams.
I tell you what, I can still catch a ball, and I ain't gonna make any mistakes.
Country was just kidding you there, wasn't he?
No, he was serious. He said, I can't get the deep one anymore, but I'll be a great possession receiver.
You know, Irv, he told me once how he got faster after the Giants turned him loose. Harry Wismer owned the Titans, and he said on Friday when they got the paychecks, only half the checks would be good, so the guys that got to the bank the quickest.
Fun days.
Let's send you back down to the stadium and the game you're enjoying here on CBS.
Welcome back to Texas Stadium. We're at halftime with the Cowboys leading the New Orleans Saints by a score of 13-10 after Dallas ran up a 10-0 lead in the first half. I'm Frank Lieber along with Dick Vermeil, and looking at the statistics in the first half of play, Dallas has 6 net yards passing. Now that's a little bit un-Cowboy-like.
Very much so. That's why the score is still tight, because New Orleans has turned the ball over just like they didn't want to, but Dallas hasn't taken advantage of it. I really think this second half, they're going to have to go the higher percentage throwing. Get the ball to backs, the tight end against those zones, play action, and that kind of thing. Otherwise, they're going to, keep throwing those low percentage things, and like you say, they're not completing them downfield that far.
But give a lot of credit to the Saints defense. We heard that they were a swarming bunch, that they stayed all over you, and they have been all over the Cowboys so far in this first half of play.
They're playing with great intensity, and I think they're going to come out and even play with more intensity here in the second half, because they're going to have confidence they can win this football game.
Been a very physical football game, too. We've had several limp-offs, as we say, on each side. It has been bruising.
You can hear it up here. Yeah.
And a lot more to come. So, second half, we'll be ready to get underway here at Texas Stadium in just a moment. Stay with us.
We are an explorer, a farmer, a miner, and an insurance company. We're a pipeline, a truck line, a gold mine, and a leasing company. We're a builder, a printer, a logger, and an energy company. We are more than 41,000 men and women working in 18 different industries all across America. We are Southern Pacific. We also run a railroad.
If you run a small business, profits can get squeezed when inventory doesn't match up with production. What you need is a tool for modern times, the IBM personal computer. Not only can it help you plan ahead, it'll balance your books and give you more time to make dough. And the cost? That's the icing on the cake. Your own IBM personal computer. Try it at a store near you.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Valvoline. Valvoline is everything you need in a motor oil. IBM. And by Avis. Trying harder makes Avis second to none.
Second half about to get underway before a sellout crowd of 62,000 here at Texas Stadium. Cowboys will be kicking off. That means Rafael Septien will do the honors. New deep man for the Saints, at least for today. Rich Maudie has replaced Wayne Wilson back in the goal line, coupled with Kenny Duckett. High kickoff and short coming down to Maudie at the 8. 10-15. Bates. Great open field tackle by the hustling Cowboy.
Hey, now let's see if New Orleans can capitalize.
38 yards on the punt, and the Saints have a first down now at the 30-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys, an official timeout.
Isn't that amazing?
It's easy to forget Valvoline was the first to show you how to save money by changing your own oil. And it's easy to forget Valvoline was the first to put 12 quarts in a handy carry-out case. And it's easy to forget Valvoline is the choice of leading race drivers the world over. Yep, it's easy to forget all this about Valvoline, as long as you remember Valvoline is everything you need in a motor oil.
Now Avis has the fastest way for you to return your car and get this record of your rental charges without waiting at the counter. I'll prove it. Our new Avis Rapid Return is as easy to use as your pocket calculator. You just punch in your car number, your mileage, your gas gauge reading. In less than a minute, out comes a record of your rental charges. Try our new Avis Rapid Return. It's another Avis first. It's fast, it's easy, and it's only at Avis.
Next Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys meet the Minnesota Vikings, and the Detroit Lions face the Los Angeles Rams, plus other regional action. All starting with the NFL today on CBS Sports.
Bill Hurley, who made the fumble recovery a moment ago, puts the Saints in great shape at the Dallas 30-yard line.
He's quite a guy. You know, he was the all-time total offense leader at Syracuse. And in rushing alone as a quarterback, he's the third all-time rusher behind Zonka and Little. That's pretty good company, Fred.
Yep. Jim Brown went to school there, too, and didn't do badly. 1st and 10 for the Saints. Stabler airs it out. He's got a man open. Couldn't reach Groth. Jeff Groth, the intended receiver, number 86. As we check some other scores around the National Football League on this Sunday afternoon. That's a baseball game or a football score? I think that's a football score. Yeah.
7-5. Must have got a safety after that field goal.
New England ahead of Pittsburgh, 21-13 in the third period of play.
That win last week must have got them going.
And Baltimore leading the Bears. Baltimore not off to a bad start. 2nd and 10 from the Dallas 30. Well, Too Tall Jones came charging across like he saw something. And let's see if someone pulled him offside or it goes against Dallas.
Ball start, number 67, offense.
Well, you'd have to say an alert play by Too Tall Jones. Jumping the gun that time was Stan Brock. Probably the Saints' best offensive lineman.
He was their #1 pick in 1980. He's a great football player. Maybe not a great one yet, but has the potential to be a great one.
Cowboys send in their 4-0 defense, which includes Bill Bates and Ron Fellows. Saints are looking at a 2nd and 15 now from the Dallas 35.
You'd sure like to stay out of these long yardage situations against Dallas because of the rush and then the coverage. But the strength of the Dallas defense now is their coverage people.
One back setup, 2 tight ends. Wilson, the old setback. Here's Stabler probably changing the play. Duckett at the 26-yard line. Did he change that?
He
audible.
change it. You could hear it here echoing in the stands. He yelled something 92, something 92, which was the quick slant. Dallas had come up in the line of scrimmage and were bluffing a safety blitz look. And then they were going to back out, but he audible quick enough to go ahead and get it off.
Yardage by Duckett picked up to the 25-yard line. It is 3rd down and 5 for the Saints at the Dallas 25.
You know, it's amazing. He doesn't practice all week, and here he is doing stuff like that.
Stabler, who hasn't been under that much pressure, was pressured that time, forcing the throw to be a little short, intended for Hobie Brenner. You know, Bum told us yesterday that Stabler had not worked out all week. He did work out Fridays and threw maybe 25 balls.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think the pressure here comes from Too Tall. 72 coming inside now. Randy White, number 54, is working around there. Edelman, number 8. Now you can see Too Tall getting right there. He trips over him, actually.
So here comes Morton Anderson with an attempt to tie it up. This will be a 42-yard effort.
He's 2 for 5 from this distance.
Long enough and good. So we will start anew. It's the Saints 13, the Cowboys 13 at Texas Stadium.
So, little brother, did you have a good year?
I'm surprised, Steve. The business really took off.
Surprised? I'm not surprised. Remember when everyone else had a regular lemonade stand? You had lemonade on wheels. And you even did your own advertising.
I was only 6 years old.
Oh, come on. When you needed the money to buy a bike, you started a newspaper delivery service. Ollie, Willie, and Sam delivered for you, and you called it all bark.
And no bike.
And you even worked an extra year because you had to have the best bike. You always knew what you wanted. Well, that reminds me, did you ever get that computer you were talking about?
Well, I really looked around, and I went with the company I felt had the most to offer. You know, classes, service.
Well, which company did you choose?
IBM.
IBM. It figures.
IBM, an official sponsor of the 1984 Olympics.
The Saints scoring drive. Of course, after the fumble by